In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how you can start Draftsight and kind of learn how to use the different parts of it. Okay, there's several different things you can do. There's several different commands and different things you'll be able to use while you're using the program. Now, there's lots of different CAD programs that are available out there. AutoCAD, as you can see up here, is a very industry-based program. I mean, most people use AutoCAD, or some people use SolidWorks. There's several different CAD programs that are available. Draftsight is the program that we'll be using. It's available through Draftsight Systems, the same people that make SolidWorks. But what's nice about this is it's a free program, and it's very comparable to AutoCAD as far as what it can do as far as 2D. Now, it's strictly 2D. AutoCAD gets into 3D, and it's got a lot of extra things you can do with it. But for basic CAD design, Draftsight's a pretty good program to start off with. So that's what the program we'll be using. Now, different ways to access it. You can either double click it on the start menu here, or on the desktop. Just simply whenever you install it, it puts a desktop icon on there. Just double click on it. That'll bring up the Draftsight software over here. Another way to get to it is if you're using Windows 7 or any Windows-based program, click on the little Windows icon here. There's a Draftsight there. But to get to it, you can go to under All Programs, and then there's Draftsight Systems here. You select it, and then you can click Draftsight, and that'll also open up the Draftsight program. So there's a couple of different ways you can get to it. The easiest way is just to double click it on your desktop to turn it on. So we'll let that load up for just a second. Now, if it comes up and pops up with this error, Network Access Manager, what that's doing is that's saying that you don't have internet access or something like that. Just click OK. Now, you will need internet access because you will have to activate it. Okay, once you turn it on for the first time, it's going to come up with an activation. Now, it's real important that you put this in. Otherwise, you only have 30 days to use the program, and after that point, it won't allow you to use it anymore until you activate it. So here you can put your email here, put your email here. Under industry, just choose some sort of industry. It doesn't really matter, just pick one that you're interested in. And then under country, if you haven't already activated this, you choose United States. Then you can select activate, and it'll allow you to activate. Now at this point I don't have internet access, I've got it turned off, so I'm just going to click activate later. But remember, if you don't activate it within 30 days, it'll shut itself down. Okay, so now we have Draftsight open, and what we start with is basically a blank drawing. Okay, so here we have our drawing area, and then we have our different parts that make up the different parts of the program. Alright, now your user interface is all these different buttons and the way everything's set up. Okay, so right now our user interface is where everything's located at. The first thing we're going to look at for the user interface is the title bar. Your title bar is located at the top strip of your program up here. Okay, this blue bar across here, it says Draftsight dash and then no name. Alright, no name dash 0 dash DWG. What that is that's telling me that's the title of this drawing. Right now we started off with a brand new drawing, but the drawing doesn't have a name, so that's called no name until you go back and save it. And once you save it, then that'll change to whatever you've named the drawing. But that's your title bar. That's real important because that tells you which drawing you're working on. You can look at the name up there to see which one you're dealing with. Okay, now over here, this is your drawing window. Anything we draw will be drawn in this window over here. Circles, lines, anything text, it'll all be drawn in our drawing window. That's where we actually go to do our drawing. Now over here, notice it says home and then the community panel. Well, right now I'm not connected to the internet, so I don't have the extra features that come with the community, but there are certain links and stuff you can click on over here to take you to how to do special drawings and stuff, certain commands if you have questions and stuff. That's a nice thing you can use too. More importantly than the home community though is down here. If you notice, there's the properties. If you select it, what this brings up your properties panel. With your properties panel, it's going to tell you information about anything that you create. So if I make a circle, so if I left click on this circle button here, come over and left click my mouse here and then drag out and left click again, well, I just created a circle. Whenever I left click on that circle after I've created it, notice it highlights and then it tells me all the information about it. Okay, so down here it'll tell me the area of the circle, it'll tell me the XYZ location for the center point, it'll tell me the circumference, It also tells me the diameter and the radius for the circle. So there's lots of information gathered just by creating that one little circle. And so your properties panel is a very important panel to have available to help us whenever we're trying to locate different things, or if we're trying to find out what particular properties that part has. Down here at the bottom, this is located down here. This is called your command line. If you notice, I'm going to hit the arrow up here, come up. Notice whenever I clicked a while ago, it put the circle there. Anytime I create a drawing or tell it to do a command, it's going to be located down here in the command window. Okay, this is the command window or the command line. So as I am creating drawings, it's all going to, anything I do, the information will be down here so I can use it as a reference. And we'll need to reference this area down here, because if I come up here, notice it's got diameter. These little blue parts are different options that you can do with the commands. So if I pick something, I could tell it to make the circle based on a diameter, or a 3-point circle, a 2-point circle, or tangent, tangent, tangent circle. And we'll get into all that, but the command line is this area down here. It's really important to have. Now you can't exit out of it if you hit the exit button, that little X right there. It says closing the command line means you no longer see the command feedback. Do you want to do this? If you say yes, it'll go away. You can hit Control 9 on your keyboard to bring it back. So if I say yes, notice it's giving me a little bit more drawing area. I can't see the command line anymore, but whenever I want it to come back, I'll hit Control and 9 on my keyboard, and then it pops it back up there. And so that is the command line down there. Now over here, this little piece here that's got the Y and the X with the cross here, what that is that's the UCS icon, okay? Or Draftsight calls it the CCS icon, but a lot of other programs calls it the UCS icon, and that just stands for User Coordinate System, or Customer Coordinate System, or Custom Coordinate System. What this is this tells us where the beginning of our drawing is. Every time I move out here, everything out here has a point associated with it, and that point has a coordinate system. So every point in our Draftsight program has a point. So as I move, notice this right here is my coordinates. As I move, my coordinates are constantly changing. This is the X coordinate, the Y coordinate, and the Z coordinate, all separated by commas. Now over here, where these two lines come together at that center, at that endpoint there, that is the origin, or what would be 0, 0, 0. Okay, that's going to be the beginning of our drawing. And then from there, everything's based off that origin point. So that's your user coordinate system. That's where it's based off of. So where those 2 points come together, these 2 lines, where those cross, that's our origin, or our 0, 0 location. And we'll be using that as we're creating drawings and stuff. So those are very important as well. Now down here, these are your drawing aids. These help us when we're drawing. Okay. Now the grid, what that does is that turns a grid on in the background of our drawing, so you can use it as a reference. Snap, what that does is that snaps to the grid. So as you're creating drawings, it'll snap to your grid. Ortho, what that does is that keeps you drawing straight lines. So if I've got ortho on, it'll only allow me to draw lines that are horizontal or vertical. It has to be either going side to side or straight up and down. It's a nice little tool. The polar, if it's turned on, now if it's blue, that means it's turned on. So right now ortho's off, now it's on. So if this one's on, that one has to be off, and vice versa. So here with polar, what that does is that allows you to draw. Okay, with the polar, what that allows you to do is that allows you to draw lines at specific angles, and we'll talk about how all that works. Your E-snap allows us to snap to different parts of our drawing, and then the E-track allows us to track different parts of our drawing. So we'll get into how all that works just a little bit later on. Now down here at the bottom of the sheet, we have our sheets here. Model is where we do all our drawings, and then sheet 1 and sheet 2 are actual drawings. So here in each drawing that we create, you actually have 2 sheets that you can have where you can have different things shown. So here if I wanted to, notice this looks like a piece of paper, so if I wanted to print this off, I could take this here. Right here, what I'm stretching out is my viewing window. We'll learn about how that works. What that does is that allows us to see whatever we create inside here. That viewing window allows us to see it out here into our drawing. We'll learn how that works though. But those right here, these are our sheets, and over here this is our model, which is anything we create in here. So if I create a line in here, then I can see it whenever I'm out here if I zoom in and zoom out to it. And then over here you have sheet 2, so here you can adjust the window for it as well, and then zoom in and zoom out. We'll learn how all that operates. But the main thing you need to understand is these are your drawing tabs, or our layouts. So as we're creating our drawings, we'll print off these, but we'll actually create our drawings here.